Sebens, it's not working. Um, I'm actually trying to make use. I've tried to make use of this mic, which I bought online. It's not doing me any good. It is not working. So I'm not really sure if it works via Bluetooth, if whether it works via IR, which is infrared. I see that, I'll just put it aside. I'll learn how to use it in a while. All right. Okay. Now here's the reason why I'm making this. I'll be straightforward. See, my phone is also looking to be charged. I'm gonna charge it. All right, there we are. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Zambians, Malawians, Zimbabweans. Guys, making content isn't gonna fix your countries. Crying foul isn't gonna fix your countries. Just that. So stop making content and start getting your countries on track. So making a lot of content, playing, crying foul, making threats, doing this and that, isn't gonna help fix your roads. Isn't gonna help clean your beaches of your open defecation, of the shit that the trash that you actually traditionally make there, cities. That's filthy. I may have not been in your countries. I have been to others, yes. I may have not been in West Africa, yes. But you can tell by the look from the image that this is filthy, dirty, it's uninhabitable. How do you swim, guys? All right, let's leave Makoko aside. Let's leave these other areas aside. There is no country that's perfect. We've got our own problems. But the good thing about us is that we tackle them head on. We don't beat around the bushes. We face the problems. We tackle them. We sort them out. Be it our politicians, we deal with them. So we don't run to other countries crying foul and looking for empathy, sympathy. Nope. When it comes to getting our lives on track, it is solely our own responsibilities. So we're not going to give other countries a responsibility. I came across one of the videos whereby one of the journalists was interviewing these African leaders, and they were questioning about their people in South Africa. And one of those leaders said, it is not our responsibility that South Africa is an issue. It made no sense when your people are suffering, when your people are under such situation or are experiencing such conditions, and you say it is not your responsibility, as much as it was never a responsibility to send them here. But in essence, it is actually your responsibilities that they left your countries to go seek for greener pastures elsewhere. Migration is what we also do here in South Africa. We move across the country to seek better opportunities. We do go to other countries, work there, because there are better opportunities. It may be a title wise, it may be a financial benefit, it may be all sorts of opportunities. So what I'm gonna say to you guys is ukwenza content angeke kulungisa amazwe wenu. Making content isn't going to fix your countries. Crying foul on social media isn't going to fix your countries. Looking for sympathy or empathy from around the world isn't going to fix your countries. Getting your countries fixed is solely your responsibilities. I believe that you also came across those videos on TikTok, on, I would say, social media at large, whereby these Africans who are in South Africa, who are now, as they say, fearing for their lives. I don't mind the background noise. That's my daughter. I'm actually home today and I'm babysitting. Father with the responsibility, not the so-called deadbeat fathers that you guys are calling us on social media, including your fake girlfriends, which are South Africans. I'm sorry to say that, because that's genuinely, your relationship is all financial based. It's not about the future. It's not about whatever. That is positively contributing to the economy at large. So yeah, I'll put that aside. That's not the reason why I'm making this. So don't mind that particular, because now disappointed me. All right, now guys, we know that you're seeking business opportunities, employment opportunities. You're seeking health care, education, better education and so forth. But there are laws and regulating these movements of of immigration according to their categories, in line with each country's domestic and foreign policies. This is what I've compiled along the way, in previous weeks. So today I'll be focusing on South Africa and touch a little bit of statements from other high-profile individuals, such as political leaders, business leaders, even influencers maybe. So we'll also look at both the negative and positive impact these will have on the economy, touching on various industries, the role political parties are played to get us where we are, and what they should do to contain, this crisis, in order to reach a win-win situation for everyone. All right. So we'll also touch a little bit on times during the apartheid era, on which African countries helped us, how, and we'll also look at, ask the necessary questions regarding limitations of our political leaders, let's say our African political leaders, yes, but I'm actually looking for this particular term. Freedom fighters, our freedom fighters had, will ask questions with regard to the limitations they had, what they did in those countries, what was the treatment, what they could do and what they could not do, just to do away with these things of, we helped you. Remember, Robert Mugabe said, African issues, South African issues are solely South African issues, responsibilities. So they can only help diplomatically and politically. So, which means they could only say on media, please stop xenophobia. That's it. Nothing much. And if there are countries that actually went through hell helping South Africans during the apartheid era, it is Mozambique and of course Tanzania. Yep, Mozambique and Tanzania. As for you others, no, you didn't. It was only the word on media that said, whereby you said, please stop this. This is not right. We don't support that. We condone this apartheid, blah, 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 blah. That's all you did. Okay. Now, so right now, we're also going to be looking at lack of accountability and not tackling problems, which genuinely destroys everything. And that's where fellow Africans fail dismally and then point fingers and play the victim in other countries. Just imagine me leaving my own house, going to a neighbor's house or someone in my neighborhood to stay there and say, there are problems in my house and I can't stay there. It is your responsibility to fix your house. It is your responsibility to clean your house. You are struggling this much because you allowed your politicians to do as they please. It is because you're not taking accountability to get your countries fixed. All right. So now, education and training. We know we're the best when it comes to African, when it comes to education in Africa. There's no doubt about that. We've got the best universities on the continent. We've got the best private schools on the continent, which resulted in the best economy on the continent. So this thing of you guys are educated and South Africans are not is all bullshit. And you know it. And you can also pick it up from your mouth when you're speaking. That these big heads are just empty. Sorry about that. So yeah, there's a say, an empty tin makes the loudest noise. And we are seeing empty tins making the loudest noise on social media. Blame the victim for failing to sort themselves out. Now blaming someone for not fixing their own countries. Man, fix your own country. Come here legally, do the legal stuff. You're never gonna have issues. You're not gonna have any problems. Okay. I will be using various languages, various South African languages, English, Afrikaans, Zulu, and Sotho. All right. Now, okay, we know you guys are seeking better education, you're seeking better employment opportunities. But now, when it comes to opportunities, if things aren't working out here, I will go seek greener pastures elsewhere. All right? You see, with us moving from rural Natal, Eastern Cape, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, you name it, to go to the towns and or cities. All right. That's how economy rather was built. All right. We had our parents. It's not something new, however, this thing of migrations. So that's how townships got to existence. Soweto, Soshanguve, Mlazi, Khayelitsha, etc. That's how our economy was built. With our parents and grandparents working in mines, military, police force, education, infrastructure development, healthcare, and so forth. Now, if you remember, Vusi Thembekwayo once said, if you guys are saying South Africans didn't build this country, who was building the infrastructure? Who was on the floor? Who was on the ground? With those spade, with those tools, getting their hands dirty in order to build our road infrastructure, to build our, the infrastructure that you see, the physical infrastructure that you see. It is our people. It is us. When I say us, I mean black people did that. And yes, people who actually funded those, it was some European or American companies, because they were also benefiting. They benefited. That's that. But also, our very own grandparents and parents paid taxes in order to fund these projects. It is South Africans that have built this country. Whether white, blue, gray, yellow, it doesn't matter. All right? It is South Africans that has built this country. So now you also have to build your very own countries. All right. Now, after having built all this, spaza shops played a very critical role in shaping the future of this country. Spaza shops are part and parcel of who we are as Black Africans, people from the township. Okay? It is not just a small room-sized shop with few items. No. It is part of our DNA, who we are. All right. They played a critical role in shaping the future of this country. As as we had no malls, they are our identity. I hope you get me when I say that. And ANC felt us dismally when it comes to that. And through Somalians. There is this lady who was given 500 billion rands to assist the spaza shops. Money just vanished. But Somalians companies, spaza shops are booming. They're larger, selling much more products at cheaper prices. And not only at cheaper prices, but the other problem is that terrible quality, expired goods, which raises health hazards for us. People have died, kids have died after they bought some sweets, some snacks from them. It's a given fact. It happened. So now, when we go to our political leaders in Africa during apartheid, here's what I've written. I'll read it. Our freedom fighters who went to other African countries to obtain military training provided by Russia, with Vladimir Putin and co training them in Tanzania, not Nigeria, Zimbabwe, or Somalia. Tanzania. That's where our political leaders, our freedom fighters were. They were not in Nigeria. No, they were not. As for that lady who said Nigeria gave her the first passport, tell her to return Nigeria's passport. And by the way, she did nothing for the nation so far. Sorry to say that. All right, and now our people did not sell drugs when they're in those countries. First of all, they did not force locals into prostitution. They were not involved in sex trafficking, scam natives. They never done that. Broke their infrastructure. They never did that. They killed the citizens. No, they didn't do that. All right, they didn't flood their schools with their kids. They didn't do that. They didn't overwhelm the foreign countries' healthcare services, prisons. They didn't take their businesses. They didn't hijack buildings. They didn't make some areas no-go areas. No, they didn't. So, which is what you guys are doing here. So, we're not going to celebrate when you guys are killing us. We certainly won't. So, what is happening right now? Suits you well. So stop making content, playing foul, and start getting your countries fixed. It's as simple as that. Stop flooding social media platforms with lots of videos condemning this and that and that and that and that. No. We put politicians aside because they are the ones who are actually fueling this. So some videos does state that those people are getting something. I don't know where those guys are getting that info from, but they are. Okay, ngakho-ke Zimbabweans, Nigerians, yekani ukuthi nasisiza nge-apartheid. No, you didn't. Sisesenawo amavidiyo kaRobert Mugabe la khuluma khona ukuthi inkinga zethu sizazixazululela thina ngokwethu. Umgabe asho ukuthi inkinga ze-South Africa ze-South Africa. Ama-South Africans mazilungisela inkinga zabo. That's what he said. So ngakho-ke Nani inkinga zenu ezenu. Fix your countries. Stop flooding here and playing the victim, whereas you are the offenders. All right. So the political roles in this, what's written here is political roles in this is that they publicly misinterpret our constitution to favor whatever the goal they want to achieve. That we know. So lots of investigations will take place, and already you see this with with the current commission of inquiry. However, a lot of this bad stuff are being uprooted. They do come out. People are being held liable, responsible, accountable for what they've done. All right. The biggest thing I remember is that in 2021 budget speech, our military was underfunded, and I went on to research about that, and I realized that South African National Defence Force lost over 50 billion rands in funding in the last 10 years. When our military was underfunded, I said something is going to unfold in the upcoming year. They're trying to pave way for something. Now I'm waiting to see what it is. Now we see. Borders are not secured. Our immigration is underfunded as well. You can tell with the systems they're using. Nothing has been maintained. This and that. Guys, I don't know. But my message is clear. Africans, stop making content and start fixing your countries. Stop making content and start holding your politicals responsible, accountable. We are South Africa are actually the victims of our own success, not the other way around.